I got recently the idea of refreshing an old ebook I have for a while. I really wanted to make it look better, but there was just one slight problem. I'm not a designer. By that, I mean, I'm not a designer at all. So obviously I looked at for AI tools online that would make the process way more easier. I tested the best and most popular platforms out there, and I wanted here to break down what I found. That is the tools I used, what worked, what didn't work, and also what you should look out when you want to use AI to generate an ebook. So starting from here, I'm gonna give you a ranking from the least good to the best to help you make up your mind. Okay, now let's start with designer. A tool that has been very popular among marketers and writers for a while now. It has been known as a good tool to edit and create any kind of digital ebook or any kind of text-based marketing documents. But with the age of AI, I wanted to see if it was still up to the task compared to the other AI tools out there. So on Designer, the process is still the same. You upload your document, or you just copy-paste a text or create it from scratch, and then you get some templates that you can apply and then edit manually what you want from there. The only difference now is that you can use their AI model called WordGenie, which is like the AI text generator. You just ask WordGenie what kind of ebook you want, and we'll generate it from scratch. I tested the WordGenie, and already here I found some couple of issues that boggle me. For example, you cannot really customize the instruction you give WordGenie, just have to ask some very specific questions. So the output is very generic and not very personalized to what you want. But after that, when the text is generated, you can actually apply a template to make the text more visual, because for now, it's just text and some very generic and not very nice to see AI generated images. When you get to this manual editor, it's still the same and it's still good. You have some templates, you have some tools to edit these templates, so it works quite well. The only thing is that these templates are not as good as the one I tried out on the other AI tools. They're quite rigid and static. You cannot change any elements, so I feel like you miss some kind of creative freedom there. But the good news is, if you want to generate a document mostly based on text, Designer is still a good tool, and it's very efficient. If you already have your document or PDF and you want to import it, you can do that, and then you get a nice template, or you can just create from there a digital book with some images, because of course, a book will have less visual than a marketing ebook or a lead magnet, for example. In terms of pricing, Designer is in the average level of the other AI tools I try out there. You can start from the pricing that is like the standard plan, which is like $29 per month. So that's really good. You get all the basic features. Of course, you want more, you have to pay more, but it's really good. And you can also, if you give your credit card information, access a 7-day free trial. That's what I did. And I could try out most of the features. There were some features I couldn't access, but was still a good overview. Let's talk now about With.me. So this tool, I've already used it for my first lead magnet, actually, and it was really good at the time. I used it to design my template from scratch. I used also all the tools in the editor, and it was quite fast and easy to use. Now that I have integrated AI into the editor, I was curious to see how it would go. Here, the AI works like an chatbot assistant. It will ask you some question about your project, and then at the end, it will generate an output that will follow your requirements. What I found is this AI will generate a mix-up of templates that are filled up with the text you wanted to generate. So the templates are still quite a fixed layout. It will just generate text into this layout without some kind of custom or dynamic structures. Thankfully, the quality of the visual templates here is really good actually compared to Designer. All the titles, the table of content, the bullet points, the subsections, all of these are good visual items that will make it compelling to your audience. What could be lacking is an AI that would be able to regenerate specific section in your template so that you don't have to do it by yourself. That would be great, but it's not there yet. You can ask the AI to regenerate an existing document you already have, and it will do it by mixing up your text into the template. It can be good, but sometimes also messy, but still it's efficient. In terms of pricing, it's almost exactly the same as Designer. You have a starter plan at $29 per month. You can, with this plan, import your PDF, because if you get the free trial, because there's a free trial, you will only be able to use the features, but without importing your document as a PDF. You can just send a link, but nothing much. One surprising tool I found in my research is StoryDoc. Compared to the other AI ebook generators I use, StoryDoc is more like a slide and presentation generator. So it would just generate white papers in the horizontal format. Of course, I tested the AI feature in StoryDoc and it was actually quite good. I could give it the link to my website so it could guess what kind of things I wanted to talk about. And I could also import a document or a text so that it knows exactly what the ebook will be about. When the generation was finished, it gave me quite a nice modern slide deck that I could use easily and edit. All the slides had subsections, bullet points, and other more dynamic visuals that were making it more compelling. The text was also well positioned and there was nothing really that weird in the way the text was presented. I could also customize the slides by just taking another new template for all the library of slides that they already had. And I have to say, yeah, the library had some really nice templates. So really the customization was a strong point here. Also the visual quality. But one thing to note is that you won't get a vertical format ebook from StoryDoc, but you can still maybe kind of try to reformat it in another way. But yeah, that's the limitation here. There was also a limitation in the customization of things. You couldn't ask AI to regenerate one specific slide, but overall the experience was good. In terms of pricing, you have a very generous free trial of 14 days where you can just generate whatever you want. The starter plan is the same, $24 per month, a bit so lower than the other tools, but you can get as much as the other tools, of course. And then the other plans can be more expensive than the other tools. I had to talk about PictoChart because it's definitely one of the most user-friendly infographic tool out there. While it relies on a template-based system, it has integrated AI in a very dynamic way. The AI in PictoChart works much like StoryDoc. You give it some context and information about your ebook, and it will generate it based on some existing templates, but in a more customized way. So here it gave me a handful of pages I could use, but also a handful of template options that I really liked actually. I think the templates that I found on PictoChart are one of the best I ever found in any tool. These are really good and very professional, and there are a lot of dynamic sections, bullet points, and other titles and sections you can use to make your visual items very compelling and really captivate your audience. There was also a lot of options to have like numerical representations and visualizations that were quite nice to see. This adds some spice to your ebook if you want to highlight some numbers or some data or stats. That said, the core engine of PictoChart still relies on existing templates. The AI doesn't design from scratch. And again, you cannot ask the AI to regenerate a specific section in your template to make it faster. You have to regenerate from scratch or to apply another template or find another elements in the editor. In terms of price, it's also kind of the same level as the other tools. There's some free plans with some AI credit that you can use, and you can also export some documents with watermarks. So that's really good. And the Pro plan start at $29 per month like the other tools. So yeah, it's kind of the same pricing here. ChatGPT 4o image model was the most surprising finding in my ranking of the best AI ebook generator. It was one of the latest AI released in the time of my test. And when I tested it, it was really good. So with this new version of ChatGPT 4o image generator, you can generate images with very detailed text, and also it follows your instructions very closely. So you can ask it to do very specific design. And I have to say, I cannot stop to be impressed by the quality of the result. For example, in my experience, I asked it to regenerate my lead magnet and to give me recommendations and to generate it by itself. When I did, it gave me very smart and thoughtful suggestions to make my design way more compelling. That's the thing here. GPT-4o gives you recommendation. It talks to you and it assists compared to the other tools that usually don't give you a lot of advice. It has a general word model of what a good design looks like. So you can rely on this general knowledge and intuition to make your design way better. And what's more, it can generate from scratch an image that will follow its own recommendations. So you're sure to really have the best output out there. So for example, here, when I asked it for recommendations, I also asked it to generate based on these recommendations, and it gave me quite good outputs. The only thing here though is that you have to generate page by page. The format is very fixed. You can just generate one image. Also, you have to specify very precisely the format you want to get because it will usually just give you a random format. Also, you have to repeat your instructions many times. And to regenerate, your images also many times. There will be a lot of typos usually and mistakes and some design weirdness that you have to ask him to remove. What's good though is that you have a tool to select very specific portions of your image that you tell him to regenerate. So you don't have to regenerate everything from scratch. But this tool has its limits. It can be more customized. In terms of pricing, it's the same as the ChatGPT base model pricing. You have a free trial where you can generate some pictures and some text, but you will be quickly limited, especially because OpenAI has to manage a lot of demands regarding its own image models. So you put a lot of guardrails around there. And if you pay $20 per month for the ChatGPT Plus plan, you get a higher rate to generate your images and your text. That would be much better if you want to generate your ebook from scratch. So at the end, after all these tests and comparison, which tool did I use to finish my ebook? I used, of course, GPT-4o image model to create the mockup, but also to generate very specific visual elements to add to my ebook. Then I used the manual editor to integrate these visuals into my design, plus to leverage the existing template library of the tool to make my design look perfect. But at the end, the choice of the tool will depend on what you want, on the requirement of your project and the expectation of the design you want to achieve. So just test the tools I give you here and see which one works best for you. And otherwise, if you like this video, don't forget to like, to subscribe, or if you have any question, leave a comment under this video. Let's see you on the next one.